Welcome back to From the Scriptwriter's Table. This is David Lucas, president of Winding Trails Media, which puts on, or will be putting on, and starting in the fall of 2016, audio plays. Now, we've been talking about the 3 tools on how to write audio scripts. And I talked about yesterday the role of music and gave you an experiment to play with. Today we're switching up to dialogue. And actually, dialogue itself can be split up into 2 categories: narration and dialogue itself. Today we're going to start off with talking about narration. Dialogue is the workhorse of the three members of the trio: sound effects, music, dialogue. I also wanted to, before we go diving into narration here, want to make a comment. Winding Trails Media is working with a musician and composer who compose the music for the radio plays or audio plays that we will be producing. And he and I had a little interesting conversation the other day on use of music as commentator and how it's being done more in modern audio plays versus the way it was done in the past. And he brings up a lot of good topics on that, and I will be sharing that conversation, or the points of that conversation, with you when we return to music. Also, too, just FYI, there is going to be a webinar in July 2016. Go visit www.windingtrailsmedia.com and click on Web Courses for Writers, and I'll be sharing those points in that webinar on top of everything else. So, let's get to narration. So, in theater or movies, there was also a character that was stolen from ancient Greek mythology or ancient Greek theater, as well as it was used in Shakespeare's time. Though eventually, this character has kind of fallen out. We know him in Shakespeare as Chorus. Now, if you've never watched a Shakespeare play, and you now don't know what a chorus is or who Chorus is, I'm going to recommend to you that you go find on Netflix, I'm assuming is out there, Hulu maybe, YouTube, wherever you can find this, the film adaptation by Kenneth Branagh of Henry V. In that, Derek Jacobi plays Chorus. Like everything else Derek does, he does a fantastic job as Chorus, really bringing it to life. And whenever I think about the role of Chorus, I always picture Derek Jacobi. Or Derek Jacobi. I've heard his name pronounced different ways, so if I'm butchering it, I apologize. Nevertheless, my admiration for his acting and for all his acting roles still is not diminished, even if I butcher his name. Okay, I do recommend you go see that, find it, rent it. I don't care how you look at it. Number one, it's a great adaptation of that movie to watch for Derek and his way of playing Chorus. In radio or audio dramas, Chorus is still an existing character. It can sometimes be just a narrator. You might put it down as in your script as narration or as announcer. Or sometimes it's a character that's actually in the script who steps out of the plot and presents a narration to the audience. You can hear this a lot in Sam Spade. You go back in time. You can find the Sam Spade radio dramas on YouTube. At least that's where I've been finding them at. They're also on iTunes. You can download them there as podcasts. Another great example of how a character who's actually in the story plays Chorus, as well as working as well as being in the plot. this is a common rule. You've got to be careful also with narration. Too much, and you turn off your audience. Too little, and you lose your audience. We'll talk more about that and how characters or narrators can fill different roles as we proceed with this podcast or video cast. So I'm going to pause it here. We're going to talk more about narrators tomorrow, and we're going to talk about proxy listener and how that plays out a role as the narrator. And to give you a little taste of what kind of character I'm talking about there, last week we celebrated on our Facebook and Tumblr pages the new adventures of Sherlock Holmes, which was back from the 30s or 40s with Basil Rathbone and Nigel Bruce. Find an episode of that. You can find them on YouTube, and you will go ahead and have a preview of what a proxy listener is. Dr. Watson is a narrator, but there's a proxy listener as well. Let's see if we can point them out. All right, that's enough for now. Really quick, the normal call-outs. Check out windingtrailsmedia.com for information on script calls, casting calls, which will start July 2016. Script calls, audio calls. We also have the scriptwriters table, which happens every month, starting June 2016. Completely, totally free to come to. Also, we will have webinars. There's one in June, which is on Inside the Heart of Darkness, Writing the Multi-Layered Villain and the Necessary Villain. In July, we will have the webinar on writing for the ear, writing audio plays. Check those out. Also find us on Facebook, Tumblr, and Twitter. Most of our work is on Facebook and Tumblr. That's where we're sharing our celebrations of the days in which radio was and the modern day audio plays, which this week we're releasing, since X-Men are out in the theaters, we're releasing an audio drama series that is X-Men. Now, Winding Trails Media will not be producing any fan fiction. We're for profit. We don't cross that line. But we didn't create this. We're just sharing it with you, the audience, so that you can get a taste for what a modern radio play is like. All right, that's enough of me talking. Have a great day writing. Catch you tomorrow. Take care.